Hello, today I'll be talking about communication. Why communication? Well, because have you ever tried to have a conversation with someone you care about and ended up feeling misunderstood and ended up feeling as though your words were turned upside down? You have? So have I. And that is why the key to really having those difficult conversations, especially after conflict, lies in what I'm about to say. We all know the importance of communication, but just to put it out there, communication helps to strengthen bonds when it's done well. It helps to make people feel heard. Helps to make people feel loved. So how do you communicate in such a way that you are expressing yourself? You're not passive in terms of keeping what really matters to yourself for fear of rocking the boat. Neither are you aggressive in terms of, infringing upon the other person's rights. Rather, you are assertive. You're in between. You're saying your truth, speaking up on how you really feel and still having the person not be defensive and rather put down their guard and listen to you. So the key is in an acronym called IDEAR, MAN. But that's the long form. Really, what really helps is the IDEA. What does IDEA stands for? Idea. I stands for icebreaker. It means say something in such a way that the person doesn't feel attacked or confronted. So really what you need to do is to share the other person's perspective. So this is really key, especially when the relationship is troubled and you find it difficult to see eye to eye. So actually expressing things from the other person's perspective tells the other person, I get it, and they automatically put down their guard. So if you have having an argument about something, you could use the I, that is the icebreaker, by saying something like, I get that you're really angry with me right now because of how I spoke to you earlier. So that is the I. You are reflecting the other person's perspective in such a way that the person feels less defensive, because to be able to listen very well, you need to put your guard down and hear things from a point of view of curiosity, not a point of view of getting ammunition to counterattack. So that's the I, the icebreaker. Say something from the other person's perspective that you understand. If you think an apology is needed, go ahead and apologize. If not, then that icebreaker is huge because it helps to bring down the other person's defenses. Now the D. The D stands for describe. Now to describe, you briefly, not going round and round and beating around the bush, you briefly summarize the crux of the matter that is in discussion presently. For instance, so I know that yesterday you wanted me to make the egusi soup for your get together and I only had meat pie. That's like a very brief summary so that the other person knows exactly what you're talking about. Then the E in the IDEA is to express. Now note the key, what you're expressing is what you feel, not what you want done, not what problem solved should happen, but how you feel about the situation you just described. So, or how the person reacted to you. So the E in this example could be something like, I felt really embarrassed and upset the way you gave me the cold shoulder in front of everybody. So that's the E. So I'm expressing how I feel. So not what I want to happen, but how I feel. It's important to really express how you feel because in conversation with someone that you care about, the assumption is that you care about this person. The assumption is that you want the best interest for this person and vice versa. So if you express how you really feel, how what has happened made you feel, it evokes empathy and it evokes love and all those lovely soft feelings, and it gets the person to really hear your experience of that same situation. And then the A is to assert, and to assert means to say what you want specifically. And I want to point out one thing. I'm just going to jump back to the D. So in describing, be careful to be specific in your descriptions. And for example, you were mean to me. If I were to use that kind of description, that is quite ambiguous. What exactly did I do that you perceived as mean? So you might say instead, you didn't talk to me, or you ignored me, I felt ignored, or you were rude. And this you said by saying so, so, and so. Then finally, to assert is to say what you want. What do you want to happen? What would you like the other person to do? So this, in this example I gave, you could say something like, it would be great if you could, you know, talk to me and tell me how you feel. If you don't feel you can do that, while your friends are there, it would be nice to have a conversation with me after the event is over. Now, there is an R making it IDEA. Actually, the full acronym is IDEA Man. But I find that if you can master the IDEA and maybe chip in the R where you find it useful, it'll be great. The R means to reward or to reinforce. That just means to throw in something that you know that would be an incentive or motivation for the other person to do what you want them to do. For example, you could say, talking, if we're able to converse this way, it would really strengthen our relationship. It would really, move us that step closer that I know that you want and I want as well. So that's the summary. I've been talking about conversation, communication, and the key to talk to someone you care about. It can actually be adapted to different scenarios, to be honest. But to talk to someone you care about in such a way that they're not defensive, that they're not up in arms and not really listening to you, and convey really what is in your heart and strengthen your relationship.